Ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Derek Weldon, the official version of myself, not a clone. I'm sitting next to Mike Dennis here, also not a clone, or are you this time?
This is my clone version.
And this is the Cool JDM Show, the amazing and cool JDM Show. We're going to up it a little bit each time. And so in this episode, we're going to be talking about our new logo. We're going to be talking about our Drives Japan channel and what has happened over the last week. We're going to talk about the 280 horsepower gentleman's agreement on sports cars here in Japan. And I know that you hate that.
I hate it with a burning passion of 5,000 suns.
We've got some auction picks, and Mike is going to sell me some cars from auction, and I'm going to bid them and buy them for real, but not really. And then I'm going to do the same thing back to him. We picked out some interesting dealer cars here in Japan, and you're going to have a look at those. And then we've got your questions, a Q&A section where you, a customer or a potential customer of ours, can type your questions into the chat right now. And we'll get to them about halfway through the show for a nice, meaty Q&A section. So make sure that you post those comments in and stick around for the answers there. Isn't that right?
It is. That is all correct. Can we talk about the logo first? Because I see it back here.
I see a green screen.
That was movie magic, Derek.
Can we see what they can see?
Yeah,
you have it there.
And we got Mike. On the mic here with us is Max.
Hello.
He's back end, but he's got that sultry voice. It's kind of not fair that you've got the sexy voice and you've got the sexy voice, and I just sound like a prepubescent 12-year-old over here.
That's what I was thinking. No, I wasn't thinking that. You know, your voice is different, right? Like, you hear your voice from your own ears as it's coming out of your own mouth.
Right.
Other people might think your voice is sexy.
So are you saying it's worse or better? Because I feel like it's worse.
I was trying to give you an underhanded compliment without wanting to admit that I find your voice sexy.
The best kind of compliment. Yeah. The new logo was designed by Max. Max put a thumbs up into the camera right now so everyone can see at least your hand.
Do the animations still work if we do this? Wait, where am I doing this? I got to do it here.
No, I think it's off.
Oh.
That's a shame. I want animations. And I think Max really came together with the new logo. He redesigned the PCA logo, and maybe some of you have seen the new version of the PCA logo. I'm not sure if too many people have, because we're still using the old one for the invoices.
Yep.
But the new one will be coming out. I think it's like shut the phone off. It's like the old version, but an updated version of the logo, and it looks awesome. I think that Max really outdid himself with the current cool JDM show. I love the pixels. I love the dithering.
What is that? What is dithering? My understanding of dithering is like messing about.
Yep. I love the part where Max messed about on the logo. Dithering is when you're doing pixel art, and this is for like old video games, right? And then they couldn't show more than a certain amount of colors on the screen at one time. So to fake it, they would make a checkerboard pattern of the colors so that it would look like it blends between two colors, especially on a CRT TV. And it kind of has a retro look, and the logo there has some dithering in it. I think it looks fantastic.
I love the dithering.
And if you like the logo in the comments, let Max know. He loves compliments more than anyone I know. Okay, and Drive Japan over the last week. We had one episode that went up on Drive Japan. Do you know what it was?
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to be putting you on the spot more and more, so watch it.
But I'll let you explain it to the viewers at home, because I already know about it.
We were talking about the suspension on our race car.
Okay, cool.
And we moved over from a Tane suspension, middle of the range Tane suspension, over to an Öhlins.
Wait.
Öhlins suspension.
No.
Öhlins. Thank you very much.
Öhlins suspension.
Yes.
And we explained suspension a little bit. If you haven't watched that video, go have a watch. It is interesting, and it has a lot of nice animations, again, done by Max. I got to give him credit where it's due, because the video that we posted for that, we recorded the video, Max and I watched it, and we were like, this is not interesting. We'll have nothing to show anybody. What are we going to do?
Oops.
And
it was a last-minute save.
Yeah, and I think we saved it. I think that the video came together really well. So It was more voiceover oriented, and we explained suspension a little bit. It's fun. It's well done, I think.
I just see now there's a preview of that on this second screen, and it shows the old loader, which is a blast from the past. So that's
Yeah,
how
the
long
pirate
ago
ship,
this
right?
was. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly was a long time ago. You've got the mouse now. So there's this one section of the video, and I got to extra shout it out because I think it came together really fine. I was shouting into the microphone when I was doing the voiceover and just playing around and things. And then Max snipped some of those clips and then put together a little montage of him yelling at me in German.
Let us show
and it turns out to be the most watched section of it, almost by 2. So if you look at the graph of the views, they do the regular curve of coming down, but right at that point they boost up. So at least a number of people wanted to watch that part again. So let's watch it. Unfortunately, we don't get the audio, so we can just imagine. But to you watching at home, it's pretty funny. So go ahead.
Wait, can they see that? Oh, they can. Right. Not German.
Yeah, that was some of it was done intentionally.
Right.
Some of it we just were goofing around.
Yeah, and it feels good to have the goofing around part come into the video and become something.
Oh, we can't see the watch thing here. Oh.
Wait, oh, sorry.
No, that's
yeah.
Right?
We don't have the statistics on here, hey?
Oh, yeah.
No, we are currently logged into the PCA account.
Oh, I see.
But if you want to go to this video and learn how to pronounce Uhlens, this is the part of the video that you want to go to. Yes, share it with your friends if they are having trouble pronouncing suspension brands.
Yeah, unless they're Swedish or apparently German also works. How is it that a German person knows the pronunciation? Did you look it up, or do you think the languages are just close enough?
At first I was thinking that they would be close enough, but then I researched it and it was close enough.
What are the 2 little dots on the O called, Mike?
That is called an umlaut. Yeah. And it is one of my favorite things in the world after learning it recently.
Hence why I asked this guy.
Yeah.
There's no video that on the channel this Thursday. That's my fault. I had to write a script and other businessy type things got in the way, so I didn't write the script for that one. I have finished it now, and that should be coming up pretty soon. Are we expecting that one to come out next Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're missing a week.
You guys get a week off, so go rewatch all the other videos in the meantime.
Yeah.
Something about the Drives Japan. So this channel is about a month old now, and we have... Are you ready? I'm going to look it up on my phone to get the current number.
Wait, I have the mouse. Let's reveal this.
I don't think
live.
we can.
No, I can't. Can't we?
Because we're logged into the PCA account and the Drives Japan account. We can't do it while we're live. But I've got it on my phone here.
It shows down there 991 though.
Goodbye, Yannick.
991.
Yannick's gone. Sadly, I have to go to bed. Oh, good night. Sleep well.
I've got the updated numbers. They are 992 subscribers. Last time we did a live show, we gained 10 subscribers on that channel during the live show. So we're going to see if we can gain at least 8 in this show and see if we can get 1,000 by the end of the show. We'll check again on the phone.
Okay, cool.
Super cool. Okay.
I love all the cool stuff Max is doing with that.
Thank you.
I hope everyone else is loving it too.
Enough with the compliments.
All right.
Good with it as a compliment.
Yeah, next time we're going to put you in front of the camera and then you have to deal with the compliments while everyone can see.
God.
What's the next segment, Mike, in your sexy voice?
I would... Oh, okay. Yeah, give me the reverb or something.
Okay.
Derek, I would like you to explain to me the Japanese gentleman's agreement.
Hold on. You need to say industry topics and news.
Okay. Take 2. Industry topics and news. News.
It already does the reverb. You don't have to reverb yourself.
Okay.
Today's topic of the industry topics and news is about the gentleman's agreement. If you don't know what this is, you may have recognized that many of the Japanese sports cars in the 80s/90s had 280 horsepower, or technically 280 PS, but PS is almost the same as horsepower. It's like 1.4% different.
Or rather, advertised at 280 PS.
Well, that's true. We'll get into that. So cars like the Supra, Skyline, RX-7, Impreza, Lancer Evolution, NSX, GTO, almost any sports car here in Japan was 280 horsepower, which is a little bit weird because they've got 2-liter turbos, you've got 3-liter turbos, both posting the same amount of power. And so a lot of people have heard about this, and they consider it a gentleman's agreement. First off, I have to complain about that term a little bit. A gentleman's agreement is just a nicer term for collusion.
I was about to say the same thing.
This is when companies get together and decide what's in the best interest for the industry.
Their industry.
Right. And so this started in the year 1988, and throughout the 80s, there was a bit of an arms race here in Japan. All the manufacturers wanted to outdo one another, and this is why JDM cars are so great. All of the cars from the 80s and 90s, the JDM cars, this is the unicorn era for the cars. And they kept getting to the point where they were spending a lot of money making the better car, only to realize that if everyone's doing the same thing, nobody's really benefiting, except for the consumers.
Right. Well, right. They're not benefiting.
And so what the official story to the media is that Japanese manufacturers were getting a little bit afraid that because the cars are getting more powerful, they're going to result in more accidents, and this is a safety thing. And they were worried that if there were more accidents, then regulations would clamp down on them, and they decided to take matters into their own hands and mandate it to 280 horsepower. I don't know who it was that decided, because a gentleman's agreement, by definition, is not something that's public. This is a private conversation between all the manufacturers. And so I guess they decided 280 horsepower. And yes, you're right. It's understandable that some of them are lying a little bit on those numbers, and we'll get into that. But I feel like it's more like the manufacturers were worried that as the cars get faster and stronger, development costs will have to go up, and they wanted to tamp down on this arms race more than they wanted to do anything for safety. And so the cars were mandated to a maximum of 280 horsepower and a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour.
Right.
Which you can almost run that fast.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Like my original Mini, my first car, had 37 horsepower, and I got up to 155 kilometers an hour in that. So
wow. That would have been scary.
It was absolutely scary. The door was shaking like this.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's ridiculous to think 180 kilometers an hour would be the top speed, but they didn't have to prove it. They would just have a speedometer that shows 180 kilometers an hour. Right? And you've seen this on all Japanese cars. It's 180 kilometers an hour. This is because of the gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the cars could go faster, hence why you could buy a different gauge set. And you've seen this on Skylines, mostly on Skylines, but also on Supras and other fast cars. You would buy a version of the speedometer that goes up to 300 or 280 or 260
often, yeah,
kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of Skylines with unknown mileage, because every time that gauge set was swapped, you would go back down to 0 on the odometer, right?
Right, yeah.
And so if you're wondering why there's so many unknown mileage Skylines or unknown mileage sports cars of the era, that's why a lot of people changed them up to see how fast they were going, because 180 is almost nothing to a GTR or a Supra or an RX-7 or an S or all of these. And so I guess a lot of people didn't know that 180 is due to the gentleman's agreement as well. Knowledge for your brain, Mike.
I wonder, after thinking about this for a few seconds, when did the Nismo 320 kilometer an hour Speedo get released? Because if it got released
1989.
So right after this agreement.
Yep.
So people could buy their car that was under the agreement and then return it to the dealer, get the dealer to swap the gauge cluster immediately, which is what a lot of people did. Like, we see a lot of cars come through auction that says the gauges were swapped at 2,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers at the dealer, like from brand new.
400 kilometers. So basically a new car. They would get the car and they'd be like, holy smokes, I've pinned the speedometer. Let's get a new gauge set.
Yeah. So the dealers were actively selling this as an option.
And it's funny that I think Nissan was the first one that was selling these. And it makes me wonder if it was Nissan's idea to do this agreement. Because I believe that they stood to benefit the most because their GTR was about to come out. So maybe it was Nissan's fault.
Yeah.
And also it was Nissan that broke the agreement first.
So Nissan played everyone. Maybe.
So the first car that I could find that was the first car that broke it was in 1995. But the agreement actually was from 1988 until about 2001, 2002, somewhere in there. It's a little bit of a gray area because some manufacturers would break it while others didn't, or some would break it overseas while in Japan they didn't. A good example of that is the Supra, which officially in America had 320 horsepower, but in Japan had 280, although the Japanese one was slightly different with smaller turbos and ceramic turbos instead of steel turbos, something like this. But the first one that I know of that officially broke the gentleman's agreement was the 400R.
Oh.
That's the 400 horsepower version of the R33 Skyline GTR. And that's not 280 horsepower, it's 400.
Wow.
And so Nissan, the bad boys, 6 years after the agreement, were like, screw you all, I'm going to make a special model. Interestingly, Subaru in 1998 made the 22B, which they took an Impreza, right? A 280 horsepower Impreza with a 2-liter turbo engine. Made the engine a 2.2-liter engine, and officially still had 280 horsepower, which is a complete BS.
Right.
That one, like the 400R, the 400R only 44 units were made, right? So you'd think special model. Yeah. So maybe it doesn't fit in with production vehicle. Maybe it skirts the rules of their agreement. But Subaru was also making a special model of only how many? Grant?
Yo.
How many 22Bs were made? 200-ish?
Let's ask Google.
Wait, we got Air Google here. We can ask Air Google.
Air Google.
No, asking Grant I think is funny.
Because Grant usually knows everything. Okay, so Subaru had the 22B, another special model, still 280 horsepower. Oddly, the very next year, Subaru came out with the S201, which is another special model, and that one had 297 horsepower officially. So around 99 was when we started seeing manufacturers come out with cars, special models that broke the rules, and around 2001 is when we saw cars like the Toyota Crown was starting to get 300 horsepower or so.
Grant, do you got numbers?
Yeah, Zaid is also in the chat.
Yeah.
Correct. 400.
Yeah. 400 Japan, 20 plus to other countries. Zaid commented that.
And we did export 122B, one of our coolest cars that we have exported.
True. Yeah.
I couldn't believe how cool it is to touch it. You touch it and you become a better man immediately.
I never got to touch it, so I'm still the same man as I was before.
Yeah, but you're already such a good man. If you touch it, you might go past the point of no return.
You might be superpowers.
If you're such a good man, you might make other people feel jealous of you, which will turn into a worse life. So I think it's good that you didn't touch it or drive it like I did. You know, rev the engine, drive it around, not redline it.
There was the emoji reaction. Mike, can you do hearts for us?
Hearts?
Like this?
Does it work? How long does it take?
Yeah, it did work.
So the 280 horsepower is well known to be a little bit of an exaggeration. There were a lot of cars that probably had more horsepower than that. And I've got a list of them here of what people think the official amount of power are. So the R34 GTR stated at 280 probably has 320 horsepower. The Evo 6 probably 300 horsepower. The Mark IV Supra probably 320 horsepower. RX-7, the FD, the final versions, probably 300 horsepower. And the NSX, and this is an interesting one, the NSX officially has 274 horsepower. It didn't hit the 280, but overseas in Europe had 290 horsepower. And so the JDM one might have had more than the 276, but for whatever reason, they didn't call it 280 horsepower in advertising. And then the STI at 300, the Impreza STI, and the Nissan 300ZX at 300 horsepower. So there you go, the gentleman's agreement from my point of view. You like that?
You know what I would love?
Yes.
Is to get someone from Nissan or Toyota, Honda during this time to give their take on what happened and why, like a little bit of insider information. I would love to know.
That would be sweet.
Because
I wonder if they've told the story so many times that the embellishments have changed the story from the actual reality.
Oh, it's like their company law.
Right.
Yeah.
The legend of the gentleman's agreement.
Because I think there have been videos made about this, about manufacturers not being honest with their power and to the consumer's benefit. Right?
BMW.
Right. So I don't think you could overstate the power, otherwise you're in lawsuit territory, right?
Yeah.
So the customer ends up kind of winning here. But another thing to add to this is that a lot of these vehicles were made to be able to have much higher horsepower too, with certain upgrades, right?
Yeah.
Like, that were strangulated by emissions or other,
or just tune.
Yeah.
Right? If you're trying to hit 280 but your car can make more power, it makes me wonder, maybe this is the point that you're getting at, but it makes me wonder if that's part of the reason why these cars are so popular in tuning culture, because they can handle more than because they were detuned a little bit from factory.
I mean, I think the most famous example is the Mach 4 Supra. Bottom end is known to be like 600 to 800 horsepower capable. So yeah, kind of gave birth to the Japanese tuning culture, maybe. Pretty cool though.
Okay, so that's what we have to say about that. Do you have anything to add, Max? We're a little bit faster this time, which is weird because we're usually too slow.
But that's good. More time for questions.
Yeah, questions I think are more fun. We got 28 concurrent viewers right now. You guys are locked in. You're not allowed to leave or I'm going to cry on stream.
You don't want to miss that.
And what did we get for concurrent viewers max last time? I think it was around 40. And the first stream was 19.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you guys, you know what they're going to do now? They're going to log off so that I cry and then come back to watch the crying.
Oh, watch it later.
Yeah, so. Sorry, got something in my eye.
It started already.
I do have one thing to add. Flavian is in the chat.
Hi, Flavian.
He also said Suzuki also played with the K-car agreement, 64 horsepower cappuccinos to the wheels.
Oh, so how much power do they actually have, the cappuccinos?
I don't know. When I had mine...
It had 0.
At some point, yes. But it felt faster. But maybe that's just the turbo, because it didn't feel fast
and
above 5,000 RPM.
Right, yeah, those little turbos are good for mid-range in the cappuccino.
Oh, he said around 74 to the crank.
It makes sense because those engines, the F6A engine, you can get the kit right from like Monster Sport for 100 horsepower in the cappuccino, and that's insane. Those are 700 kilo cars.
Yeah. I wish I fit in them. They're a blast. That one I drove, so much fun. Love me a cappuccino. Anyway.
Yeah, I do feel like it'd be nice if they had a little bit more in the top end. So
yeah.
We had the Alto Works that had the same 100 horsepower kit, but it didn't feel as nice. It wasn't the RS version, so it was the single cam version, which doesn't breathe as well. So the 100 horsepower kit is probably more like a 90 horsepower kit in it. Yeah.
Derek, I think it's time I sell you on a car.
Oh, are you going to announce the next section?
Yeah,
Max,
this time I'm going to do it properly.
Okay. I'm here. Let me cross my hands and look here. I want to look up at you like you're a father figure.
Okay.
It's time for auction picks and dealer picks, which is a kind of weird name for the segment, honestly.
I named it Car Picks.
Car Picks. It's time for... I don't have reverb anymore. It's time for Car Picks.
Are you trying to copy my voice? So this is the segment where Mike sells me on a car and I sell him on a car, and then Mike sells me on a car and then I sell him on a car. There are a ton of interesting cars at dealers and at auction here in Japan. We are a car exporter, and this is what we do. We sell people on cars. Actually, a little bit of a side note here. We don't spend much of our time selling people on cars. We have a service and people come to us and they love us, right? But we're not really like salespeople.
No, that's why I keep trying to tell you that we're purchasing. But you refuse. No,
Mike is a
true.
sales manager, right? And so you got to learn these slimy tactics to make more money.
Nope, I don't want them. We help people buy cars, and that's great because then we don't have to do the things that salespeople or used car salesmen in particular are known to do. So,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like our position.
Okay, so you got something for me, and I briefly saw what it was, but none of the details. And so you tell me what you got.
You said we're doing dealer picks first, right?
No, I thought auction picks first.
Oh, auction picks? All right, we're doing auction picks first. So I have my pick lined up, and it's pretty special.
Hit me with your pick.
Don't look at the screen because then I'll give it away.
I will not look at the screen.
But you know your Lotus, right?
My Lotus Elise, one of 12, special model.
So this is in the same realm. So I've taken something that you love, and I'm going to... That's the door.
Yeah, we don't have a soundproof studio yet, and so bear with us. If you want us to get a soundproof studio, you can hit those donations in the chat.
Can they actually donate?
They'd have to donate a lot, and YouTube takes like 40% or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, a lot.
Send us cold hard cash in envelopes. That's easier. Actually, I think that's illegal. Don't do that.
Try that.
Anyway, I'll give up the ghost. Oh, everyone can see it. That's cool too. It's this is a Veilside MRS.
Can I see it yet?
Yes, please look.
Wow.
Now, Veilside kits can be a bit of a love it or hate it relationship.
Usually a hate it relationship.
Yeah. I really like the Veilside RX-7. And I think this is one of their better kits. I'm not a huge fan of the rear, that spoiler going over the lights.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's pretty sweet. I don't think the MRS is like an immediately great looking car, and I think this makes it a bit better. So
yeah. I'm a huge fan of the MRS. I think they look dorky.
Yeah.
But when a car is enjoyable enough to drive, the dorkiness can be compensated for.
Yeah. So this is actually the Veilside demo car from 2001.
Tell me more about it, Mike.
It was entered into the Tokyo Auto Salon in their Grand Prix category.
So a real show car.
Yeah.
Made by Veilside, not just a Veilside kit slapped on it. It was made by them.
No, yeah, it's got the Veilside wide body, Veilside wheels.
And this is at auction right now.
It is. It is available for purchase by you, Derek Weldon. Or anybody else who wants to beat him to the punch, because we have a policy here that customers get priority over the cars. So
you mean
they
like
bid, you can't bid.
Right. So like if one of us in the office wants to buy a car, or we are trying to buy an inventory car, the customer gets the priority.
Correct. So beat Derek to the punch on this one. I don't know. This is a very specific kind of vehicle. I would expect there's a very small market for the people who want something like this.
45,000 kilometers is nothing.
Yeah, very low mileage.
Is it? No, it's color changed to wine.
Yeah.
Can we get a little bit more of the auction sheet on there so I can see?
And Derek will translate a bit more.
Can't make it bigger, but there you are.
Yeah, that's fine. It was just cutting off the left side. Oh.
Turbo swap. Is that what you just saw? Yeah, HKS turbo swap with HKS ECU.
Oh my.
So I to preface this, a lot of these demo cars that are done by the shops, they throw a ton of money at them. So in my opinion, you can often get pretty good value on something like this because they don't cut corners. If it's getting into a show, then it's got the whole 9 yards. That said,
it looks good.
Yeah.
It looks incredible.
It does have some really cool bits on it.
So it's the late model, so you got the 6-speed manual as well.
So
instead of the 5-speed.
It had original 5-speed, or it was swapped to a 6-speed from the later model.
I see that. Yeah, the later model 6-speed swap.
Yeah.
ORC clutch, intercooler, aftermarket intercooler, of course, because it's a non-turbo originally. FCON V Pro, boost controller, power, hyper, apex, adjustable suspension. I can't see very well. The monitor's a little bit far away, so bear with me.
You can rotate it if you want.
Original optional hard top, and I will take you up on that offer for rotating a little bit so I can see better. Fantastic. Show the picture of the car again for anyone who just came in, because I noticed we now have 32 concurrent viewers. Yeah. And just to remind everybody, we're trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the model, or at the end of the show. Yeah. And we're going to give them some sort of a show if we get to 1,000, right, Mike?
A show? What? Oh yeah, you're not going to cry, right? Is that the show?
I don't know. I was hoping you could come up with something creative at the moment. Oh, that interior! Wow.
I gotta say, putting the gauges in the glove box is something I'm not sold on.
Because then you don't have a glove box anymore.
Yeah, and also
can we see the interior, the seats?
You're not just gonna drive with your glove box open, because then it's
But that's boost controller in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes when there's gauges inside, you have to drive with the glove box open.
Yeah.
Silly. Matching seats.
Nice seats. So
why would I like this? Because I've got a Lotus. I don't get it.
I think this is more special.
I want you to tell me that I have a Corolla engine in my car.
Yeah, there's that too. What's the...
For those who don't know, the MRS runs very similar structure as the Lotus and uses the same engine. So it's a very similar type of car. It's a little heavier than the Lotus, and a little, for stock, it's a little slower, 10 horsepower slower because of tunes or whatever.
Yeah. What's the starting bid on this?
Yeah. Oh, 2.5 million yen. Yikes.
It's pretty high. I was going to say, maybe I need to consider this for myself. It would be a little bit hard to daily drive because it's so low, but
Just went through right now.
it's pretty sweet.
The car just went through right now.
Oh.
Hit us with the price.
Let's see.
So Grant just mentioned this has just gone through auction, so he's going to
Wait. Don't tell us the price yet. How much do you think it'll sell for? This is a tough one because super low mileage and they made from a company, like officially made from a world famous company.
Right.
And it's their demo car.
And it's in pretty good shape with low mileage. I want to say 3.8 is the number I have in my mind.
I have a number as well that's pretty close to yours. Grant, did it sell?
No.
Okay.
It went unsold, yeah. So a car like this, the seller might want to keep it at auction a number of weeks until somebody pays an exorbitant amount of money for it. I was going to say 3.7 for it, but I feel like now that I know that it hasn't sold, it's probably going to be worth more than that. Grant, hit us with the number.
Unsold, 0 bids.
No bids on it.
Bids. Okay.
But that means we can make an offer on it.
True.
When that comes down, which may take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like this is pretty difficult to sell. Like it's a very
It's so
tight
cool
market.
though.
Yeah, right.
Oh, imagine it's super fast. These things are known for being very, very good handling, but too little power. And so that fixes everything. Mind you, mid-engine, turbo boost lag. You're going to be getting a bit sideways in this car,
And
potentially. So it might be a little bit of a challenge to drive.
This might be a spoiler alert, but in the race videos that we have coming up, there was a team that had, or two teams that had MRSs. They spun out all the time in the wet. All the time. So
that's a spoiler for a video on a different channel, right?
that's Drives Japan channel. I like what you did there. Nice. Go subscribe quickly because we need 1,000 subs.
Drives Japan is our new channel. Has been around for 1 month. We're going to shill it as much as we can because we've spent so much money on it. We need it to do well. We've gone to like 30 races or something, right? 28 races.
Yeah,
we've done endurance races.
Yeah,
and you'll get to watch it all on there as long as I write the scripts for everything.
My favorite episode is you guys pulling an engine.
Oh,
1 hour video.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
That took us 8 days to pull the engine because we were not ready to pull an engine, and ever since then, Mike's like, I don't know if I want to do any overtime to do car work.
That was rough.
It was raining.
And I got heat stroke like 2 or 3 times during that too. It was.
You can watch the video on Drives Japan sub now.
Soon. I don't think it's up yet. Yeah. Anyway, very, very difficult to sell this car, but also one of a kind.
Yeah.
So
what a great pick.
Yeah.
Zaid said, comfort is better in the MRS, and fun is almost equivalent to an Elise.
Yeah, I've got a very good spiel on that I want to save for when I do my Lotus video.
Good.
I think it is a bit tough though, right? Because generally the selling point for the MRS is that it's close to an Elise for much lower value, or much less cost rather, not value. But this one is very expensive. So
and very cool.
Yeah.
So I've got something for you.
All right, hit me,
Mike. And even though I know that you're not actually interested in this car, this is how I do sales. I break you down at the beginning and then build you back up.
Right.
I think maybe you would be interested in this. This is a 1977, the very final version of the first generation of Toyota Celica.
I wouldn't say that I'm not interested in this car.
That is a surprise to me. So this comes with a 2-liter engine, but in North America, it got a much worse engine than in Japan.
Okay.
Here in Japan, you got a twin cam 2-liter, puts out 135 horsepower, which might not sound like a lot, but the car doesn't weigh very much. Grant, how much does the Celica weigh? Like 950?
Let's see.
I always ask Grant when I don't know myself, but it doesn't weigh very much.
1040.
1040. That's heavier than I thought, actually. Ooh. That's about 100 kilograms.
Well, mark that down on your sales pitch.
Comes from factory with ITBs, individual throttle bodies.
I'm back in.
I know that you and I are both on the ITB. Oh, we can't tell people about that. No, I mean, you like ITBs, but we have cars with ITBs.
No.
I mean, you got a bike with the ITBs, but you want a car with ITBs, and this one factory are ITBs because it's carburetors, and not all carburetors have ITBs. In fact, most of them don't. But the higher performance ones, like Ferraris, Alfa Romeos, and the Celica, has ITBs, 4-cylinder, 4 throttle bodies. It makes that whum sound. And more powerful than my other car, which is still currently a secret. And Grant did all of these picks for us, so it's not actually me finding the car. Grant is the brains behind this, but he said this is his favorite generation of the Celica.
I can see that. You know, I really like the next generation, right? That's like the Mustang, the more Mustang looking one?
No, this is the Mustang looking one.
Really?
And so, yes, like just like how Chinese companies copy Japanese companies for their cars now and have been for the last 10 or 15 years, Japanese companies used to do the same for American cars. And the Celica is very much like a Mustang.
An RA35. I could have sworn I'm thinking of a different one. Like, this looks a lot lower and wider.
This is the late model. Oh. But no, the lift backs always had the same body. There's only... So...
Are these photos stretched or something?
No, honestly, it does look a little bit weird in these photos.
Okay, yeah, because they're a lot... They're more like your car's proportions, right?
Which we're not saying because it's a secret, but it has 4 throttle bodies. People in the comments might want to guess what it is.
Okay. But I'm right? It's more of your car's proportions.
Yeah, I love this car.
I do too, yeah.
But the first generation Celica had kind of 3 versions. So it had the first I don't know why I'm using the middle finger for that, but the first generation was actually shorter for the first 2 years. And then it got a little bit longer and a little bit safer. And then the liftback came after.
Okay, maybe can we bring it up?
But that's all considered the first generation.
On like Google to see a comparison? Because I'd like
show us the picture.
Okay.
So the top there is the notchback, and the bottom there is the liftback. And I think it's fairly common for people to say that the liftback is the better looking one. I personally prefer the notchback. When I was a young whippersnapper, car enthusiast, I always loved the fastback of every car that came with a fastback. 8.6 in particular looks way better in a fastback in my opinion.
Yeah.
This car here I have changed my opinion on, and for the last 15 years or so, the notchback really does it for me. I love the swoopy body line, and I love the back bumper, how it curls in with the 2 taillights there instead of the Mustang like 3 bars on the back.
I see it, yeah. I don't know if I agree. I think I still like the liftback, but I don't think the notchback is ugly at all. It's a very beautiful car.
I also think that if you post, if you drive your Celica to a classic car meet and you happen to be anywhere in the vicinity of an actual fastback Mustang, the Celica looks dumb compared to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the same thing happens. Better, right? Yeah, the Mustang's better proportioned.
Yeah. The
notchback doesn't have that problem because it doesn't look as much like a Mustang.
Yeah. Fair.
It looks very 70s Japanese, has that excellent engine. In North America, it got a truck engine for whatever reason, I think it had a 1.8 and a 2 liter, the R engines, like the 8R and the 18R engines. Just love this generation of car. I'm selling it to myself more than I am you.
I don't know. I was just thinking, I was going to ask you, what happens if one of us do actually buy a car that was sold to the other?
Oh, then you get it half price.
I'll buy it.
Can I be on the show?
Yeah.
You already have a cool car, Max.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that's the problem with working here is that you see so many cool cars. You're like, I want a different one and a different one. And I customers can absolutely.
So this one's, let's go back to the auction sheet of this one.
I like it a lot.
And let's just have a quick look. So.
Oh, no.
I'm just going over the condition here. And these are old cars. These are 50-year-old cars, so they're going to be a little bit weak. Needs one of the headlights replaced. It looks like it's actually not bad condition considering the age of it.
What's that?
The fuel tank is dented.
The weakest.
The interiors are always the weakest on these because interiors don't last that long. 50 years is a really long time.
Showa 52. And
the Celica sold in such big numbers that you can get parts for the interiors still. Like it's not too hard to do.
What's that note on the mileage there?
Oh, these are 5-digit odometers like all cars from Japan in the 70s.
Right.
And so you don't really know the mileage. It could be 17, 117, 217, 317,000. You don't know because at the 5 digits at 100,000 it'll roll back to 0.
There's also a note there at 1999.
Yeah, it says 1999 July, had 84,000 kilometers when it was at auction.
Okay, so then it probably.
But at that time, again, you wouldn't have known the real mileage. So it could be, I don't know, probably 217 considering the age.
Yeah.
And I love the way these shift. I love the long shift lever in it. Just 70s Japanese cars. I had a second generation Celica. Adored that car. It was so cool. Also a notchback. And that generation, I prefer the notchback over the leftback. Okay, you got.
I love it.
More cars. So we'll briefly do these because Max will get mad at us if we go too long.
Yeah.
We have good questions in the chat for later.
Good.
Okay, cool. So we want to rush towards the questions.
Oh, I didn't see
as much
that.
as we can.
I definitely didn't see it. What was on the screen?
Ah, yes, my secret pick that you have not seen before. We try not to share these too much before, so it is like
so
a
we're
genuine
not lying
reaction.
when we're like,
Yeah, but we also do have to talk about it and make sure we put something together, which is hopefully fun to view. So this is the nicest, lowest mileage 180SX that has been through auction in the last 3 months. And now you might be saying, Mike, I'm looking at a dealer purchase.
Mike,
Why are
I'm
you
looking at
telling
a
me
dealer
about
purchase. Why are you telling me about
the auction?
the auction?
And that's because we found this vehicle and we wanted to show you a great condition 180SX. And then as soon as I saw this, I was like, I bet this sold at an auction recently. And it did. Now, we can't share the sales price publicly, but I can tell you it was in the region of 5 million yen at auction.
And how much is it now?
Roughly. Now the dealer wants 7.5 million.
Including tax. So scrape that tax back and it's more like 7 million.
Right. So,
So 2 million yen markup.
Yeah, about maybe a bit less. It's fair enough, right? He has the nicest 180SX that's been through auction in maybe the last 3 to 6 months. He can ask whatever he wants for it.
And people won't buy it at that price?
Maybe not, but I mean, like what we tell a lot of our customers when they're looking for a vehicle like this is, where are you going to find a similar condition one? How can you match this to something else? And if you choose not to buy this one, or if you lose it at auction for when you're trying to bid on it to win it, how long are you going to have to wait to get another one like this? And now I totally understand that a lot of people aren't going to be looking to spend this much on a 180SX. Fair enough. So the amount of people who are looking to buy something like this is very small. It's almost worthy of a museum. This one is completely original.
What's the mileage?
30,000 kilometers. 38,
Whoa.
I think.
Original steering wheel, original seats, original wheels, original suspension, original exhaust.
Everything kept original. Like, honestly belongs in a museum. That Momo steering wheel was a factory option.
Oh, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I think the listing mentions it.
That's very cool information, Mike.
Yeah, it's
and
it's
like
very cool.
At the top end, like, people who are rich, this is nothing to them. If they want the best one,
Right.
but then like if you're not rich like us,
Yeah.
it might seem expensive, but this is a completely different market.
Yeah.
And so it might take a while for this guy to sell it, but eventually somebody will come up and be like, I'll have that.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, it can be a showpiece at this dealer and say, look, we've got this. I know it's not what you're interested in, but isn't it cool?
Yeah.
You know, dealers sometimes like to have halo cars that they bring in to, you know, just show how established and cool that they are.
Oh, I saw a Ken Mary at a Nissan dealership in Sapporo.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my mind.
Yeah.
And I was just like, maybe it's the owner of the dealership. He's just had that for however many years. It's so cool to just see it sitting there. So,
yeah.
man.
What color was
very
it?
jealous. Silver. Did they come in more than one color? I've only ever seen...
The GTRs were only silver as far as I know.
Okay, yeah. It was a GTR.
I could be wrong about that. Chat,
I don't know.
tell me I'm wrong, if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I've got a car for you, though.
Hit me.
Okay.
So, hang on. Can I preface this a little bit?
Do it.
So I can't afford that. 7 million yen for a 180SX. I don't care if it's the best in the world. I cannot afford it.
Yeah.
So I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
But what can I have?
Oh, I got the perfect car for you. This is a Nissan NS, not an NSX.
Okay, I'll buy it. 2 million yen NSX. It's mine.
180 SX, and I browsed the auctions and found, not the auctions, the dealer listings, and this is the cheapest turbo 180 SX that's for sale in Japan at the moment. The price is 1.8 million yen, which turns out to be about 16,000 US dollars, which might seem like a lot.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And this is where the market is in Japan for these.
Yeah.
The car
I
is
see a lot of orange bits.
pretty weak.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy it?
No.
Okay, on to the next segment.
Okay. Do you have more to say, or do
I
you
like
want
the
to
mix.
end it there?
You know, this is so similar to so many of the X Drift cars that that people buy. The thing is, a lot of people want 180 SXs.
Yeah.
And not everybody who wants a 180 SX has the money to pay for a really nice one. Some people are like, I'll get one that's a little bit junky and I'll put some time and effort into it to make it really nice.
Fair enough.
Whether they do that or not, that's really up to them.
Got those worst keys with the screwdriver handle.
Snap-on makes those too. And it's funny that they probably cost $100.
Yuck.
The key fob that looks like a screwdriver.
Yeah.
There's probably a decent amount of markup on this from the auction.
For sure.
But it surprised me that the cheapest one that's available for sale in Japan costs that much.
Yeah.
That's absurd to me. I think that at auction this is probably 1 million yen. So he is pocketing $7,000 if he sells this.
I think this is kind of a fun little comparison for that 180SX with a very low mileage, super clean, super nice. Something like that, which is so difficult to find, you're often forced to purchase from a dealership because you just can't find it at auction. You might look for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you get 1 or 2 chances at that. And therefore, if you want it and you don't want to wait, you have to pay extra for it at a dealership.
Right.
This one, on the other hand, is not something that you need to purchase from a dealership at a higher price because you can find them at auction. Yeah.
Frequently at auction in probably better condition than this at a much lower price.
Yeah.
You are so good at selling. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, this is what, a lot of people will come to us and ask about dealer cars that they've found because you can see more photos on the dealership listing. And a lot of people want that assurance that they know what they're getting. And you do have assurance in what you're getting here, but it's just bad.
I think it's probably good to mention too that when you buy this from the dealer, you will get less information about the car than if it was through auction, because the dealers that deal in cars that are in worse condition like this, they typically don't tell you all the information. They deal in crappy cars and they say it's good for the age, the rust isn't so bad, and then it turns out to be worse once you buy it. So there are some cars I recommend, like the last 180SX that we were looking at, to buy from the dealers. This isn't one of the ones that I recommend to buy from the dealers.
I like that it has a roll cage, and that's about it.
I like how it has different wheels on the front and the back.
Yeah, because it wasn't ever used for drifting, and that's why it looks like the rear quarters are all dented, and the front bump is definitely.
But hey, 42 pictures. 42 pictures of a bad car.
We could buy this and make this a Need for Speed Pro Street replica. Do you know how that looks like?
No.
Do you want to see?
Yeah, let me pull up the keyboard here, my Air keyboard. Click here. Okay, move here. Need for Speed Pro Street 180SX. Enter.
Nice. Oh, it's already. Wait, what?
Oh yeah, someone done it already.
Already damaged.
This is how it looks like in the game.
Okay.
Looks like all the X Drift cars.
Yeah.
I love the 180SX. I think they're so cool. There was a time that I was fairly close to buying one because the Sylvias
I almost got an S14 in Canada before we moved here.
I wish.
I know, now they're so expensive.
Yeah.
Drifting has sucked the life out of so many good rear-wheel drive cars. Okay, we got another segment.
Yeah.
We're running a bit late.
Q&A.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Do the reverb. Give Jarek reverb. You do the Q&A.
All right.
Okay, wait.
Did that sound weird? I want to go back and watch this just to hear that.
Okay, so Q&A here. We got some. Apparently, we got some great questions. If you have questions, post them into the chat right now, and we will get to them if we can. There will be a point eventually that we're going to have too many questions that we can't answer them all, but I don't think we're at that point quite yet. So if you have a question, post it in there. We're going to answer it for you.
Yeah.
So what's our first question? Max is going to read off the questions.
Yeah, I'll go through with you from the first question we got in the chat.
Okay. We probably can't spend too much time on each one. We have to go a bit quick because I saw there was a bunch of questions.
Do we offer long-term storage? From Colin.
You're the one that answers the customers for this. So why don't you hit this?
Okay, we do not offer long-term storage. The maximum amount of time we can store a vehicle is 3 months at the port before export date. So at the moment you're looking at purchasing around a June legal vehicle for USA, that's either 2000, or Canada, that's 2015 June. We often get asked, can I find long-term storage, and can we send it to that place for storage? The answer is no, because we're legally responsible for the vehicle in Japan. If we were to send it to a company or a friend or a family member or someone that you know here in Japan, and then they were to one day decide, I might take this out for a little joyride, we're responsible. The police would come knocking at our door, asking what we were doing. It's
or
also,
if the car were damaged in their possession,
right,
we wouldn't know if we could trust that person to say what happened to the car.
Yeah. So generally speaking, no, we do not offer long-term storage. It's something that we would like to do, but it's very expensive in our area. We would need a large site somewhere in a cheaper area to be able to offer that. So.
I think also a lot of people ask that question without realizing that it might not be the best option for them to keep their car in storage.
Very true.
There is the fact that cars in storage don't like that. The sitting car can get damaged as it's sitting. The car likes to be driven, especially if you're going to be storing it for more than 6 months.
Yeah, dried
and
out
also, like, what are you buying the car ahead of time for? Pretty much all of the best cars are now legal to buy in the USA. You could potentially try to buy it early in order to save some money before the price boosts up in the US market. But what I tend to prefer is recommending that these people, instead of buy a car and store it for a year, buy a car, import it, sell it. Use that money to buy a car, import it, sell it. You can probably do this 3 times within that year. You can probably make $15,000. That's going to be more money than what you save on buying a car early and paying for storage. And you get experience 1, 2, 3 times buying cars and importing them, which is now knowledge that you can use to put towards buying your actual car that you actually want once it's legal.
Yep.
And so considering those things, I would say,
yeah,
worth it.
Not having your money tied up in a car that's just sitting here in storage, potentially getting worse, is...
And joyrided.
Yeah.
What's the next question, Max?
Next question, Fiero Alex. In several post-purchase inspection videos, Derek keeps hinting about there being a new filming location soon. What's the scoop?
Interesting question.
I cannot comment on that at the moment.
Okay.
Whoa! All right. Interesting.
Next question. When are we going to the Kansai area for the Roadster Cup?
Oh, that was from Flavian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Flavian lives in Japan, and he does the Roadster Cup, and that's a 6-hour drive away. And we've got a Roadster, so we could Roadster as in
roads.
Miata.
Yeah.
We.
Yeah, right.
They're not going to see that for another year on the channel or so. So yeah, we've got a second Roadster, and you'll have to watch the new channel Drives Japan. Third Roadster. You'll have to watch Drive Japan in order to find out what happened to that.
Yeah.
We'd like to go do it, but we have to rebuild our current one. So yeah. Next one.
No.
Roadster Cup sounds so fun. Sorry to interrupt you, but like 50 Roadsters on the track at the same time, it's madness.
And you're kind of like equally matched to a certain degree, right? Like Flavian, we've seen your videos Derek showed me, and it looks like a heck of a lot of fun.
It looks like expect multiple of them to crash.
Yeah.
Each race.
Next question. You can do it a quick answer. Please explain the RA auction grade.
Oh. So an R grade at auction is a vehicle has sustained frame damage, so damage to the chassis, and it has been repaired. That means it's an R grade. If it just has frame damage and has not been repaired, it'll be a grade 3. If it's an RA, it means that damage it's an R grade with lighter damage to the chassis. But not every auction uses RA grade. Some auctions it could be an RA at one auction and the other auction doesn't use RA and it's just an R grade. So it's a little bit more reassuring, I guess, but R grades aren't always bad vehicles anyway. So yeah.
RA is sometimes the same as a 3 grade at other auctions too.
Yeah. each auction has their own standardized process for grading cars.
Yeah, most of them are pretty similar, but there are some slight differences. And if you ever are buying through us, then you can check to like with us, like what does this mean, and we'll just fill you in. It's pretty easy.
I think the takeaway, I wouldn't be deterred by looking at an RA vehicle.
No,
Like,
neither would I.
I would consider it. Yeah.
Okay, next question. I'm gonna ask myself on this one because
Okay.
This is a question for you.
Cool.
no,
If you've got
but
questions for Max, he's taking over the live stream now, so go ahead and ask him whatever you want.
you can answer that.
What does Max look like? He's got the sultry voice. Come in front of the camera.
Nope, not today. Someone asked, have you ever exported any FN2 Civic Euro Type Rs? They became legal for Canada recently. Thoughts on them? I'm saying this because I had one. Not the Type R though. And I think the chassis is great. It gets a lot of hate for...
Can we show what people what it looks like?
Yeah.
Because they might not know what the FN2 is.
Because it looks a little odd. Is that what you're
Yes.
gonna say?
This is Max's first car, and you're saying it looks odd?
Hey, my first car.
What was your first car?
A Ford Mondeo.
Loves it.
No, didn't loves it.
Mine was an Austin Mini, 1972.
It gets a lot of hate because it's fatter and slower than the EP3 that came before it. But I think that the styling is timeless.
I think it got hate previously, and I think that now that it's older and quite rare, it would be a gem to see on the road, and people would appreciate it. Like,
Absolutely.
the amount a car is loved will change throughout its life. Like, the R33 GTRs are known as being 20 years ago pretty lackluster.
Duckling, right?
Nowadays, everyone seems to love them.
And it is the last non-turbo.
Yeah, the final
of the
version.
series.
So this one came out after the
FD2.
FD2?
Same time.
Same
FD2
time.
was the Japanese market, and this was sold in Europe. And it was
Oh.
built in the UK. So it's not
It's
right.
actually a Euro Type R.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is what they call this.
Yes.
They're not super common here, but you do find them every now and then.
I think they're cool.
Yes.
I think they're super cool.
I
had a lot of fun with it.
I think the front looks fantastic. It's everything I like about the Accord, but the back needs something.
It looks like their back window is too fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Max, you're coming at us for taking too long to answer questions, and then this one,
See how easy it is?
he,
I know. Okay.
he
next
didn't
one.
even answer
Next
the
one.
question. What was the question?
The question was, what do we
Thoughts
think
on
about
them?
it? I think.
Just thoughts on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think sweet, but I want an FD2.
yeah. If you can find it, buy it. It's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's better.
All the Type Rs are great. All
And
the
if-
non-turbo Type Rs are great.
If someone buys it, I want to drive it.
All right, send it to our lot for a port. Ask Max to drive it.
Right.
Okay. Next one. Can you negotiate prices at Japanese dealerships?
Great question, actually. We
Yeah.
get asked that a lot. In
Yeah.
Canada, you'd be stupid to go into a dealer and pay full price for something.
Absolutely.
And so people expect that's the doorbell. People expect that's the status quo, right? They see
Yeah.
the price and, I could probably get that for a couple $1,000s
Right.
less.
Right.
Is that true?
It is not. It can be. It's a bit weird. Japanese dealers tend not to want to negotiate on price. The amount of times that we've called a dealer and we've asked, like, can you do a lower price? Are you open to negotiation? Can we offer a price? And sometimes, like, the worst one we've ever had is the dealer flat out told us, they said, no, we will not negotiate, and don't push us because we don't need to sell this vehicle.
No, we've had, sorry to interrupt. We've had a dealer say, we won't work with you anymore because now you've asked for a discount.
Right, that's true too. But this dealer told us, they said, we will not negotiate. Don't push us to sell this vehicle. We are happy for it to just sit in our dealership lot and appreciate in value. We do not care. So that's something we've had. And then, as Derek said, we've also had a dealership say, no, like, we're, I don't know, offended that you would offer a discount. So we'll just hang up and they won't talk to us.
I think in that case, they just didn't want to work with a car exporter. A lot of
Maybe.
dealers of specialty type vehicles here in Japan want to sell to somebody who they're also going to service the vehicle for, and the service of the vehicle will be a big chunk of their profits.
Yeah.
Especially like anything like a Defender, G-Wagon,
Yeah.
or just like any car that's over 10 or 15 years old. Nissan Figaro or something, we're a specialist. You need to do servicing through us, and now we're going to make an extra 10 grand over the next 5 years.
Yeah, they're selling a customer. No, I don't know how to phrase that, but the vehicle sale is for them to also get a customer for work that needs to be done on the car. So
right.
it is possible. It just depends on the dealership and the vehicle. We've also seen much larger discounts for some dealerships, but
how much discount can you expect though?
Generally, you expect around 50,000 yen discount on the car.
How much is that in US?
$300.
Yeah.
It does depend on the value of the vehicle. You might get 100,000, 200,000. If it's a 40,
right.
50 grand.
In my
car,
experience, though, 50% give you no discounts.
Yeah.
The other 45% will give you $500.
Yeah.
Or $300.
It's like
something teeny tiny.
Yeah.
And it sounds stupid to the customers, but that's the norm here.
Yeah. It's like a gesture of like, yes, we've given you a discount kind of thing, but it really means nothing for the value of the vehicle. So, yeah. Good question.
A couple more. Do you feel that modified cars are going for more money
great
compared
question.
to a stock low mileage example?
So it really depends on the car. If it's a car that and the rarity of the car in that state.
Yeah.
For example, 15 years ago, a modified 180SX would sell for a higher price because people would want that car in a modified state, because they want to have that anyway. Mm-hmm. If they got a stock one, they'd have to pay money to modify it. Now that almost all of them have been modified, a stock one will cost more than one that has been modified, because you have a stock one, it most likely hasn't been driven super hard. It might have some really valuable stock parts that are otherwise hard to get on it, especially dealer optional parts, something like that. Maybe the original wheels are really hard to find, and you're looking to keep this in showroom condition because it's now become something of a classic car.
Yeah.
And so it really depends on the type of car and where it is in its life cycle. Once a car reaches 25 years old, super hard to find things in stock condition if it's an enthusiast car, most of the ones that we sell.
I think we had two really good examples today of contrasting opinions. Like that 180SX being completely original, that's where all the value is. Very low mileage, completely original, very difficult to find. If that one had modifications on it, it would be worth less than it is in its current state. However, there are other cars like that MRS where those modifications give it value because it's from a famous manufacturer. Like you'll see it often with Top Secret or Mines, or some of these cars will come through auction and they're desirable because of the name attached to them and because they have maybe period correct modifications. I would just caution you that that car was modified in 2001. So it's not as it was in 2001.
A lot of people don't realize that, but when you modify a car, modified parts are meant to last 5 or 7 years instead of OEM parts are meant to last 10 to 15 years. And so modified cars will wear out faster. Yeah. That was a great question, and it fit in so nicely with our picks today, didn't it?
Yeah, it was cool.
There has been a big discussion in the chat about opinions on EVs.
Let's weigh in. I see Greg's in there. I see Zaid's in there. I see Logan. What's the big discussion?
Who dislike EVs? I've not read through everything.
Do we dislike them?
Who is liking EVs? I think Boo Morningstar asked, what's your opinion on EVs? And then it's just been going on how there are very few Japanese EVs. Prius.
Oh, this is a huge subject.
Yeah.
I'll just jump in first and say, in theory, the EV seems excellent. A lot of torque that's slowed down, very fast, fuel efficient, modern. This is the direction that the automotive industry is going. For a fun car, though, there is no way. I could see myself owning a family EV for the van, and then owning the fun cars. The longer I am a car enthusiast, the more the sound of the car matters to me, and the more the character of the car matters. And when I say character, this encompasses the chassis of the car, the suspension setup of the car, the personality of the engine, where it gets the power in the RPM range, how does the gear shift feel. These things give the car a lot of character. EV cars are all the same car with a different exterior and a different interior on them.
Right, it's the technology, right?
I do want to add, which I found brilliant. Caterham is releasing an EV sports car. And Caterham is about low weight.
Yeah.
So their EV is just about 1,000 kilo.
Wow, that's really low.
What's
300 horsepower. So it's not.
And
the
a 5-kilometer range.
Yeah.
I was about to say, so my first question with EVs is always range. Because
Well, range doesn't seem to be so much of an issue anymore.
Well,
Everything on the market
right.
is 300 kilometers, which is fine.
But this, like, so the way I think of it is from the point of view of if you're a family and this is your only car, is that okay? Like,
It will be more okay in the future.
right. That's part of it too. Like for my style of driving, I don't drive very often because I'm able to take the train and everything when I need to. So when I drive, it's purely for fun. So an EV doesn't suit me. But in the future, like if I want to go on a road trip, you need to be able to get to a certain location to then recharge your battery, and then how long does the battery recharging take? And I get that these are all questions that the industry is trying to solve right now, but yeah, at the moment I don't think they're convenient enough to have as a solo car. If you're a 2-car family, I think having an EV is perfect for like a runabout that you can then come home and charge and use solar energy or something to recharge.
Yeah.
Perfect. But if you're going out of town, you want a road trip, then I don't think an EV's.
Show everyone what the Caterham looks like. That thing's
That looks badass.
it kind of looks like that what is that called? This is it Citroen or Renault, that coupe?
I see a lot of Porsche in the front
I don't
end.
know.
Alpina
No, it's
in the rear.
Oh yeah. That's it.
In the rear, I see Supra. That new Supra.
Yeah, interesting
I
looking
see
car.
Front. It looks good though. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
Very cool style.
EV is just not interesting enough for me.
Yeah, not being able to switch gears and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving pleasure goes way down when you're not shifting your own gears and blipping the throttle in between and whatnot.
Yeah. It would be cool to see a company make a sports car EV that was fun though. I'd love to see it.
Oh, I'm sure it would be fun, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Don't you think you could have gears in an EV? I know it doesn't make sense, but
Yeah, you could have pretend gears.
Right.
CVTs
Hyundai.
do this.
Yeah.
too.
Hyundai does it.
yeah.
Okay, for finishing up,
Oh, there's so many good questions.
there's one question.
That's because the reason why we have so many good questions is because we have the best commenters on the whole internet.
The best on the internet. That's you.
Yeah.
I gotta say, boo. What was that?
Did you just show
Shameless
everyone?
plug.
What? No, I didn't.
Okay, they didn't see that.
No website scene.
So we got a
okay.
monitor over here. That's why you always see us looking in this direction. And the monitor, he just moved all of the windows, and the background image is of Max's car.
Yeah.
And we were wondering if Max was just like showing off his car just real quick.
Just so you guys know, this is my car and it's awesome. Oh yeah, back to the regular scheduled programming.
Last time someone asked what cars we drive.
What do you drive, Max?
An Altezza.
With a 6-speed
Yes.
and a Beams engine.
Yes.
Give it
Derek, what car do
beams.
you drive?
I drive a Honda Elysian minivan almost all the time. I have a Lotus Elise. People have heard me talk about that. The Lotus Elise is fantastic. One of the best cars ever made. It is a pain to live with day in, day out, so I don't drive it that often. I have a couple of other cars that are going to be surprises. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I drive a BMW 135i, but in my mind, I drive a C7 Corvette Z06.
Or a Subaru Impreza.
I really want a C7
GRB.
Corvette. The E63 didn't scratch the itch, and now the itch is back, and I need to scratch it.
Yeah.
I have to scratch it. I need medication.
He looks up auction listings for Corvettes and then puts them into the bid list, but then doesn't bid on them?
Whatever. I was second highest. No, I wasn't second. I was third highest bid on. I tried to win a C7 Corvette last week, but I ended up getting pipped at the post by somebody who wanted it more than me.
Any more questions? Or are we going to go into the closing words?
Closing words. People go into bed. Sputnik stayed up to 3 a.m.
Wow.
to watch us. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Legend.
I gotta say thank you to everyone who does stick around for these streams. It's a little difficult for us to align with your time. We tried one that is better for our time. That's at 5 p.m. here, but it only works for European viewers. So I'm sorry to European viewers. We do have most of our customers in the USA and Canada. We're trying to appeal to everyone. We might do both, but yeah.
In closing,
One fun question.
Sure.
Can we ship out some branches of the JDM tree so people can grow their own piece of Pacific Coast auto history?
Illegal.
that's adorable. I love that
But
question.
cute,
Who was it
yeah.
that asked that?
3 minutes or less. No, 3 minutes or less.
He is the JDM Tree.
No wonder he's asking about the tree.
It's a fake question. He's wondering if we're like on his team or not.
It's the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, are they going to cut me down?
Yeah. Would you guys do it? Because
maybe he wants to go travel the world.
Yeah.
This is his way.
Yeah.
The JDM Tree is in the background about where we shoot our reports, and people have been talking about it for a while because I thought it would be funny to call everything JDM because we're in Japan. JDM meaning
cool JDM show.
Japan domestic market. So there was a car dealer in Japan who got in a lot of trouble because they cut down trees when they did not ask. Public trees were cut down in front of their showrooms so that their products were more visible. If we cut down the JDM tree, I feel like our neighbors would be like, "Ha! Look at them. They're just like big motors or whatever. It was cutting down trees. I gotcha." Plus, I don't know. It's a funny idea. I don't think it works in reality.
I don't think
it is cool though.
Yeah, you can't ship living organisms. Like it's biohazard control for most countries won't allow foreign things because they can be invasive species and stuff like that. And it's probably a joke question, but I would love if there were little JDM trees
merch.
Yeah, little bonsais.
JDM Tree logo.
Everyone could have little JDM bonsais on their desk, and they're like, "I'm growing my bonsai from
this
PCA.
This is my JDM tree."
Yeah. Just need a bonsai. Yeah.
I wonder if like a company actually sells branches, like dead tree branches that we can just put like a little JDM tree engraving onto it or something. This can be your little JDM tree.
Maybe that's an idea for merch. We have a little JDM bonsai that's not a real tree, but it looks like the JDM tree.
Right. We are now doing closing words. That is the section of this. I asked at the beginning of the channel for everybody to subscribe. I noticed we have 39 people currently watching. Now is your chance to go to drivesjapan.com and subscribe.
Please do it.
Yeah.
We got to check. That's
the goal was to get up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this stream. So let's see if we did. I'm going to give everyone a few seconds to go to Drives Japan and then subscribe. This is our second channel. It's only been up for a month.
And if you're already subscribed, thank you. I assume a lot of people here probably are. You're kind of the diehard.
If you stuck around fans for long enough, then probably you like us enough to subscribe to our second channel.
We are at 994.
994.
We only gained 2 in this whole stream. Last stream we gained 10.
Zaid said, "Show us Grant and we'll subscribe."
This is a guilt trip. I'm trying here.
There's a lot of love for Grant.
What are you guys doing with your time? Subscribing to those other channels?
They already subscribed. We're preaching to the converted here. They were like the first
subscribing to Noriyaro?
Yeah, do that.
Subscribing to Albo? Subscribing to Samet? What are the other JDM bloggers? Subscribing to Abroad in Japan?
No, he's good.
Wait. You said no, he's good.
He's good.
Immediately after saying Abroad in Japan, nothing before the other ones, as if this was a contrasting
was good
point.
Too. Anyway, how did we do on the stream? How did you find it? We are accepting all tips and critiques.
And we will have Grant on in the future once we get this down pat and we have a system that works. We're going to do new types of segments, which will require bringing in some of the other guys every once in a while to share something or talk about something unique to them.
Yeah.
Someone said, shout out to Grant for running the emails while the live show is on.
Yes, that is a big thing. We are currently like bidding on cars for customers and answering emails. So without us being there, we're here. Grant's got a lot of the legwork, and Jacob too.
And the stream time doesn't line up very well with our work because this is the busy time. So Grant's doing all the busy work while we're sitting here drinking from our merch cups.
Which are official, and you can buy them as long as you're okay with the
lip marks on them.
Yeah,
you bit yours.
I did not. You gave it to me like that. So did you bite it? I hope not.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you next time.
Goodbye.